film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Yeah.
Coming at you from the mean streets of St. Louis, from a basement on South Broadway, the Indie Film Sucks podcast. Because indie film, it's the best best it's ever been.
Yes, this year.
This year.
It's ever been this year, of course. But tonight it's good. You know why?
Why is that?
Because we got a guest tonight.
Yeah, we do.
We got a guest tonight.
Who is this guest?
This is Ryan McCoy. So I think we're going to be talking about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, Ryan. So I want to make sure that we hit what you want to hit. But we just had the privilege of watching The Party. I think is the newest in there. So we'll hit on a little bit of that tonight. But let's give a big round of Indie Film Sucks. Welcome to Ryan McCoy. Nice to meet you, Ryan.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on tonight. Have you seen any of the Indie Film Sucks, and do you know the famous question that I'm about to ask?
I don't know the famous question, but I did watch some of your guys' episodes. I don't know, where they fell in the canon of podcast shows, but I kind of.
That's all right. So what we like to ask our guests is, indie film's a grind, and you know that, right? From being in the world and just working movies in general. So we parody on the words indie film sucks. It really doesn't suck. We wouldn't be doing it if it sucked, right? Yeah. So it's depends on the day, man. Exactly. So we always like to ask our guests is, what's your suck? What's your grind? What's going on in your world that
Yeah, being fully transparent, it has been not able to work at the level of artists or recognition or talent or notoriety that I believe not only am I destined for, but also that I have I have the talent to put myself there as well. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So having to find ways to live day to day with this just voice constantly in my head of I believe I'm meant for just more. I've obviously films have been the only thing that I've ever pursued since I was 9 or 10 years old. And once it kind of clicked in my brain, I kind of pushed away everything else. So I've been going at this for a very, very long time with the highest of aspirations for it. And I feel like I haven't even started. I really feel like I haven't even started. And I should give myself more credit. But I think that's the thing that, kind of motivates me, that keeps me going, is that I'm just not even close to being satisfied with anything that I've done so far.
Yeah, I too used to have hopes and dreams, and they've slowly been shattered over the 26 years of doing this.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever get satisfied, that's when you become stagnant anyway,
Or you die and gone to heaven, it's over then. So no, it's again, I have very close people to me that have support me, that believe in me, and so they're a good reminder for me to what you've done a lot. You've done an exceptional amount. Be happy and proud of what you've accomplished so far. You've done more than the majority. I mean, one of my producing partners has been in Los Angeles for the same amount of time as I have, and he came out of here from Pittsburgh, and he moved with a lot of people from college, and he said there was probably a dozen people that all moved to LA with all the same aspirations, and every single one of them's gone now. Has been for a while, and so the fact that we're still here grinding it out, and yeah, it's definitely not easy, not for the faint of heart or any of that.
I tell you what, man, the most important thing you can have in doing this is someone in your corner who's got your back.
Yeah.
Someone who, because you do this long enough, once you get past the newness of it and you're like in the grind phase of it, everyone has doubts. Everyone thinks, man, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, but am I supposed to be doing this? And you need someone else to say, yeah, you are. Look what you've done.
Yeah.
Because we often forget as creators, unless you're at the very tip top, and who knows, maybe Spielberg feels like, oh, I haven't accomplished much. But
Yeah.
but I feel like we often forget about all the things that we have done that other people have not and will never do. And you need someone else to say, yeah, look what you've done. Just quit bitching. Maybe you're not exactly where you want to be, but man, you're still going somewhere. And that's important.
Yeah.
You need to play that back to yourself about once a week.
Thank you.
Actually, we'll set this up just for you, Chris. This is
Yeah.
we do the show so Chris feels good.
I know.
No, Ryan, that's important because we ask that question a lot and everybody gives a different answer, but it's a real answer. And especially in the film industry, it's not a 9 to 5. It's not your typical mail it in, do your job right. It's always changing. You never know where your next project's coming from. And it's good for folks to hear out there that no matter what part of the country you're in LA or Texas or Indiana, we're all grinding it out. And there's a bigger community out there than just your little pocket or just our little pocket out here that, we're all in it to succeed. We all support each other. And, we're all just trying to make good products that people appreciate and hopefully get recognized for it, like you said, or achieve our potential.
Yeah.
Which we know we can. So,
and you're right. I do believe it is the greatest time to be making movies. There's I don't think there's ever been more terrible movies in the world. You know what I mean? Like ratio and like number wise. However, I do believe that it is the greatest time to make movies, and I think we're just on the cusp of seeing um, a transition into stuff that we couldn't even imagine. You know what I mean? It will come, and I'm very excited for it. And as I'm all in for that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know where you want to jump in tonight. I mean, I know we got the party. We had the pleasure of watching that.
Yeah, I'd be curious to kind of hear you guys' thoughts about that, and I can tell you a lot about the like how that project came about, which I think is a cool story. And like I was saying earlier, it's very well documented. It's on my YouTube channel and on like TikTok even and stuff like that. And then we just shot a film in March that's completed now. We just started sending to film festivals, so we can talk about that as well, and then what kind of going on afterward. And
no, that's cool. So you're the first person we've interviewed or talked to, or that it adapted something from an actual novel, right? That somebody else did, right? The novel by Tom Leveen, I believe his name was.
Yeah, Tom Leveen. Yeah,
Leveen. Yeah, that's it. So that was when I looked it up, it was a kind of young adult, so I know you stretched it a little bit in the movie, possibly, but that's what I'm interested in. Why that book? Why that project? What sparked you and your partners to adapt that book into a movie? Out of all the books in the whole world, pick the part, right? And so jump in there.
So it's a good story, a great story, I think. The lockdowns happened in 2020, right? COVID and all that kind of stuff, March, April, and there was I don't know what you call him, but he's a business owner or whatever on YouTube. Gary V is his handle title he goes by, but he started doing a show, a live show on YouTube called like Tea with Gary V, and he would have people would call in and they do a split screen and they just ask him questions. You know what I mean? He gives advice, whatever, mentorship and stuff like that. And like the third or fourth episode of that, he had Tom on. Tom was a guest of his, and so I'm just watching it, and I just really identified with Tom's story. We're similar in age, kind of the same feel. I mean, he's got real credits to his name in terms of his writing and everything like that, and real accomplishments, but same thing. It just kind of felt like he hadn't, really done, too much. And so he's just asking advice on his career. And I don't know, I just saw a synergy or felt a synergy, when I was watching it. And in that interview, Gary's saying Tom's email out loud. He's like, "What's your email, Tom?" somebody might, people in my audience are going to hit you up and you're going to get contacts out of this and everything like that, So I kept repeating his email over and over. And so I wrote his email down and I emailed Tom. I'm like, hey, I'm one of the 100-something people that probably emailed you after, seeing your appearance on Gear V, and I'm a writer. What do you have? We set up a phone call. We talked on the phone, just got together, and I said, just send me whatever manuscript of yours or whatever you've written that you think would, like, you thought like, oh, this would make a great movie, And so he sent me Party, and I went into it completely blind. He sent me as a PDF, so I didn't have a book cover, a back, nothing. And the opening sentence of that book is just floored me. And from that opening sentence, I was like, I'm hooked. And I read it in 24 hours, and I had an investor in mind that I knew a certain amount I could get from this investor, and I read this and I thought I could probably make it for that much. So I called in the next day and we got on the phone, and I basically asked him, I was like, I don't have any money, but can I option the book from you, And so I put that together. I did, and then went to the investor, and it worked, and then found Kevin, the director, and so on and so forth, and went from there. But reason I think it's so cool is like you can go back to Gary Vee's channel, you can watch that episode, you can go on my YouTube channel, you can see, you can watch. I recorded my first phone call with Tom, so you can watch the entire thing. You know what I mean? So you have this like documented history of me finding the story and everything like that. And I had adapted one other book into a screenplay that never went into production or anything. I don't even know if the book's actually published yet, but so I had some experience with adapting a book, and so that process was not completely unfamiliar to me, but that's the origin story of it, And then we finally rolled cameras on that year in December. So like,
So from the time you had that conversation with Tom to when you rolled cameras, how long did it take?
uh, like 7 months, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, we moved
Quick
very
turnaround.
quickly.
That's a real quick.
Yeah.
Had Tom had anything else done or
No,
optioned?
no, never had anything optioned, never had any of his works made into film or narrative pieces, anything like that. So very cool for him. He lived in Arizona at the time. He's now up in outside of Vancouver.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, that's it. I mean, we're like we're just waiting for the ability to do another one. He's got really great stories and great books already published. And the interesting thing about Party was the publishing rights just reverted back to him 2 weeks before, or yeah, 2 weeks before I talked to him. So
Yeah. It was
I didn't have to deal with the publishing company or anything like that. He owned all the rights, and I could just make the deal straight with him.
Yeah, he's with some big houses too. I've seen it Simon Schuster and some of the major houses. Yeah, he's the real deal for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah, that would have been a roadblock.
Yeah, he worked for Spawn Comics as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I saw. Yep.
Yeah, he's very talented, and again, his ideas are very cool, and a lot of his stuff it kind of draws on that energy of his high school career, or his time in high school and his friends, his circle of friends, stuff like that. And again, we went to high school with similar ages and similar interests, stuff like that. So it just fit. He's a great dude. Yeah.
So I didn't read the book. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
From that sense, but did you take is the book as R-rated as the film is, just from a language standpoint, and some of the elements of the, I don't want to get into the film too much.
Yeah, I don't recall specifically, but I mean everything's in there. Everything's that's in the movie is in the book. There's the sex scene or whatever, and um maybe there's more swearing in the movie than the book. I can't quite recall. Uh, so
I just didn't know how much liberty he gave you or where he
He
said.
gave me completely free reign. I obviously, and he was like, you can technically, he's like, you can do whatever you want. But I made sure I gave every pass of the script to him. You know what I mean? Just to get his approval on it. Because I did. We shot the film under a different title, and when I adapted it, I did take some liberty in terms of themes in the film that were in the book that are in the book. But I just wanted to, you know, in a book you're able to kind of go full circle with things. In a film, in my opinion, you should really just focus on one thing, on one theme, that one character is, you know what I mean? And so I tried to really kind of hone in on that theme, and it was a very personal element to me that I was adding to it. And we end the film like the film ends kind of after the party at night. The book goes into the next morning as well, and has more to do after that. And I was like, I'm gonna build up to this climax and then just kind of end it there. So that was
It worked. Yeah,
yeah, I think so as well. I do. So that's those are the only liberties. But I mean, honestly, a lot of the dialogue is taken right directly from the book. Yeah.
So
Pretty spot on.
I have done a rewrite of a screenplay that someone else wrote that was an adaptation, and I've written a biopic, which is not exactly an adaptation, but you had to stick to this guy's life. How did you feel as a writer working within those confines? Did you find it freeing because you kind of knew where you had to go, or did you find it confining because you couldn't exactly go anywhere you wanted to?
I usually put myself in shackles when I come up with a concept as it is, you know what I mean? Either budgetary or locations or some kind of, you know what I mean? If I just think of something's cool, I'm like, I'm going to force myself to try to write something within these restrictions. So those are usually in place. And then my method of writing is not like I think, well, not like a majority of people that I've met that write. My writing's all done with like index cards and on a wall, and it's I'm very I lay out I'm very very pay a lot of attention to the structure, and I don't start like I don't open final draft until like 2 months into the process, and usually I only open it up for the last like 2 weeks of it, and that's when I actually just write the screenplay. But I've already written the film 2 or 3 times through this method that I use. I just don't include dialogue or certain things like that. So really, it was like it's fun because it's like my brain loves puzzles and figuring things out. So really, when I took the book, and the book's 11 chapters, and it's one chapter for each of these characters, and each of the characters tells the same story from their perspective. So once you kind of figure that out, or once I figured that out, I was like, all right, what are the key scenes that I want out of each one? Which one do I get out of each chapter? So I kind of just broke it apart like that and put it all up on a wall. And then I was able to like, all right, well, this will be I'll start with this, and then I just kind of piece it together and put it in a screenplay format that way. So it was plus I was very motivated at the time, I wrote it pretty quickly, I know that. And it worked out in my mind perfectly in terms of the final edit of the film isn't the same structure as the screenplay that changed later in post. So
Usually does.
yeah, but I'm confident. I'm confident in what I went out there and stepped on the plate with.
But I'll say this, man, because when we open this back up, meaning the podcast and the website and everything, to film reviews specifically, we've been getting a lot of stuff, and I've seen some pretty decent films and some less decent films, and I was really taken with your film.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Really, the opening scene, opening shot, I'm like, okay, this is legit.
It grabbed.
Yeah.
And it felt very much, because I don't know how old you are. I'm early 50s. So
I'm right underneath you.
You and everybody else. But I mean, I grew up on John Hughes films.
Sure, yeah,
And it had that feeling.
yeah.
It had that 80s film, 80s teen movie feeling to it, which, again, I didn't read the book because obviously I'm not the target market for YA novels, but
Yeah.
it did hit those vibes that I remembered from back in the day, and I really appreciated that.
Well, that means a lot. I thank you very much. And the film is edgier, darker than the book is for sure. And yeah, I'll tell you a fun fact about that opening shot because I think that is great. And again, that's not how the script opened, but when we came in, we're like, dude, it's just such this great opening. These two characters, the cast is insane. I think the cast that we got, these young kids.
Yeah.
They all did a great job,
Yeah,
man.
it melded together perfectly. There wasn't a bad element.
Yeah, it was cool to see. You know what I mean? You got like a dozen kids under 24, that are all like in LA, have representation, or all like trying to do their thing. And I was like, and I told them, I was like, this is an ensemble film. I was like, you're gonna, yeah, and there's moments for each one of these characters to shine, but it's, you know what I mean? Like this is kind of like, so I kind of upped the competition factor of it, as we're shooting, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, step to the plate.
That's good. That's a good motivator.
Yeah, it worked out. Um, so I forget what the leading question for that was just the opening shot. So that shot was actually stolen. I mean, we had permits for most things and everything like that, but well, we showed up at that location and it was like still daylight and the sun was setting, and Kevin, our director, was like, let's just put the camera on the rig and film these kids walking, you know what I mean, during sunset, whatever. And he's like, just mic them up and do that. And so like as that shot's going, I got headsets and I'm walking on sidewalks and I'm freaking out because there was like sheriff's cars going by and everything. And I'm just like, oh man, this is wild. But it obviously worked out. We got it all in there and yep, it looks great. But I love that stuff. I love stealing shots. I love shooting stuff illegally. And
Yeah, man. That's cool. If you're not stealing shots, you're not an indie filmmaker.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Yeah.
So one of the things I found impactful was that undertone of that Christmas song constantly through the film.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that? Because that worked.
And a woman by the name of Nicola Antonucci. I think I pronounced that correctly. I've known her. She's a composer and a musician. I met her here in LA, and I've known her for a while, and she's done a couple different things for me, for like different projects, like teaser trailers or other things, projects I was trying to lift off the ground. And I just know her style of music, and she's so good. And I wanted like a Christmas song. Carol of the Bells was like always my Christmas song, and I was like, oh, she's gonna rip a cover of this. And so she did, and delivered, and we used it. You
used it I thought very effectively at the right times in the scenes when the girls on the climbing up at the
yeah,
that kind of building crescendoed out a little bit, and then you see. And you don't even notice it starts; it's just kind of there, and then all of a sudden, there's that song again, man. Extremely effective. I thought it just worked as a theme you use throughout the film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also rights free. That was the other thing.
Oh, use it. Yeah, use it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, the book also takes place like at the end of the school year, whereas because we're filming it. We were gonna do that first, and then we're scouting locations, and we're like, there's fucking Christmas lights everywhere, bro. Like, let's just lean into it being a Christmas movie, and so that's why it's Christmas time during the whole movie, So we're like, oh, it's Christmas break instead of the end of the school year,
That worked just as well.
Yeah, no, I think hey, who doesn't want to make a Christmas movie? It's great.
Hey, it's topical at least once a year.
Yeah.
Hey, talk a little bit about the into the camera, like lines, that kind of stuff. Was that thought from the book, or what like sounds like this is weird, right? Because I didn't know the book. But then as the characters kept doing it, it kind of worked. But I was just kind of obviously it was big part of the movie.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
In the book, it's a central part of the storytelling. Each character, so like I said, there's 11 chapters, and each chapter is one of the characters, and they all have a voiceover, like a voice in their head in each of the chapters. And again, initially, like first draft, I think that's how we had it, was voiceovers, stuff like that. And then at a certain point, I was like, you know what, man, that's a lot of dead air, and that's a lot, with these like, the actors are good, but they're young. To maintain the audience's attention, is difficult with that. So we actually did something I think was even harder, which is like, why don't we have them talk directly to camera and kind of break that fourth wall and kind of make it more theatrical in its, in its thing. But then there was a lot of timing. Like there's a few like oneers, like specifically in the back when it goes in the backyard, and there's the keg and the beer pong, and Morgan's like arguing with her parents on the phone. That's all one. I mean, we took it all in one take. There was one edit in the shot, but it's all one take. And you got characters talking, engaged in each other, to then talking to the camera, to then going back. So not easy for how fast we were doing things, and how short of time we had for prep and everything like that. Again, I tip my hat to the cast. Did an exceptional job. It was not easy. But yeah, that was a conscious choice that we made. That's from the book, what I mean, adapted, and then we just kind of turned that more, when we got into the medium of film, And I don't think it's as effective as it could be in its final form of the film, but that's one of the things that I personally think about the movie,
It kind of odd, right? You're watching a movie and all of a sudden they flip to and you're like, okay, what's going on here at first? And then you see that theme throughout and you're like, okay, it works. So it worked well. I mean, I thought it was effective.
Yeah.
So it just kind of hits you at first when you're watching a movie because you're not used to that as a movie watcher.
Yeah.
But as you kept that theme throughout, obviously, because it was in the book, it worked.
Well, to me, it reminded me of Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. So I'm like, okay. And that just leaned into the 80s John Hughes movie feel. So I was there for it right off the bat.
Yeah. I didn't even make the Ferris Bueller connection, but you're right. Yeah.
There you go.
I know my 80s movies, man. 80s teen movies. I've seen them all.
One reviewer did make that comparison as well, and it was a nice headline to, John Hughes type movie or style movie or whatever. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really good. Anything else you want to speak about it? I mean, we could talk about it all night, but anything else you want to say about it?
I mean, the fact that okay, so let's go back 5 years, right? And what the world was kind of going through, and in Los Angeles and other places as well, there were multiple lockdowns, more than one, right? Everybody went into lockdown,
Very strict.
like March, April, right, and stuff like that. And then things kind of opened up May or whatever. But Los Angeles went back into lockdown that winter, and so the studios all shut down. Like December of 2020, there were no films being shot in Los Angeles. You couldn't, and since we were we were working outside of all the unions, and we're truly independent. I was like, well, I'm not. I was like, we'll follow all the protocols that you're meant to follow, but like, I'm not gonna stop or this. And we had actors that dropped out of the project, different crew people that didn't want to work on it. Letters from producers guilds and things like that telling us we should shut down and not do it. So I think that's a pretty incredible achievement in itself, to like actually, I mean, Starbucks wouldn't give us like vats of coffee. I mean, we had to go, we had people going with our empty vat and buying individual cups one at a time and pouring them in, just ridiculous, like like hoops that you had to jump through for all this kind of stuff. And just the production as a whole. Again, if you, I don't really have my social media accounts anymore. I don't really post on them. But at the time I was on all of them and posting regularly. So if you look up the Rhino Rider account on TikTok, you'll see dozens and dozens of videos from behind the scenes or set filming that I was just filming as much as I could and just posting stuff, you know what I mean? So the film is very well documented in terms of the process of how we shot it, what happened when we shot it. Like I said, the story of it getting there. Um, uh, the fact that it was shot during lockdown. I mean, we lost the first day of 8 in the morning on the first day of production. I get an email that the house that we were meant to shoot the second half of the entire movie at fell through. The location fell through. So I had to find a new house location in the first few days of production whilst not telling my director, keep it, you know, what I mean, there was a lot of, it was a challenge, and there's challenges on every movies, but this one was like, it really felt like it was it was a battle that it was, you know, it was definitely like a kind of a testament to, you know, kind of make it through this. And then I thought it would have been released and seen, you know, a lot sooner than now. You know, some notes we got from our sales agent were like, the film is, buyers just aren't interested in showing teens suffering or dealing with.
Oh, you kidding me?
That's what makes the movies, man.
I went back to my high school and saw everybody I've ever went to high school with, and everybody should see that in this movie. There's a character for everybody in this film.
I feel the exact same way. I really do.
Yeah.
It hits on those archetypes, and I think it's very honest about how those archetypes play out.
Everybody's life, it's topical. The thoughts that they're having in their head is exact. I mentor some youth about that age today, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what they're going through.
Yeah, I have kids that age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
related.
that's
very
bunk
good.
right there. That I don't agree with that statement. I apologize, but I don't.
Yeah. No. I mean, this just goes to show you kind of, in my opinion, the detachment from people that are ultimately making like the real business decisions in film when it, you know, it comes down to like its distribution or its marketing, and they have no connection to what the artist who's living in the mud, who's you know what I mean, who's seeing this suffering, this hurting, and wants to kind of bring those things into light. You know, those are the people that know what's going on. Like I understand the youth of America. You know what I mean? Because I've been paying attention to things and been watching things and asked questions and this and that. So, but yeah, that was that. You know, they said it was a red flag to buyers in terms of drinking, sex, and showing teens in distress or under stress, or like as the verbatim notes I got back from my sales agent of why the film isn't so, like buyers are passing. And she was giving me names like, here's the people, these people stopped asking to see it, like, no, you know, these people don't want to see it. And it was because of those reasons. And I just thought it was, I think that's strange. And I'm like, because that, I mean, like, well, what do you think the youth of America is going through right now?
Where did you grow up?
I thought art was supposed to emulate life, you know? It didn't work.
So is it still out there? You're still shopping it? Is that where it kind of ended up? I mean,
It's finally got a North American deal, and this is why it's coming out January 2nd is its SVOD launch, and so that's why I'm, you know, started to kind of push out, get some publicity behind it, or, you know, what I can to put it out there.
do you know where it's going to be, or can you say that?
Yeah, well, first it's going to be on, you know, iTunes, Google, wherever to pay to rent and stuff like that, for about 5 or 6 weeks, and then like second or third week in February, then it goes to like a free
Like the Tubi?
streaming. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what. I do know that initially it'll be on iTunes, Google, Apple, right? That's iTunes. So I don't know, wherever you pay, you know, Amazon.
Yep.
Wherever you rent, you know, pay to rent the films or buy the film or something like that. But even I tried, and whatever. I even tried to get them. I was like, okay, James. I was like, that's cool. I was like, I understand. I was like, you know, if we put it 3 weeks earlier, we're actually releasing it right before Christmas, and it's a Christmas movie, which takes place. Yeah, I was like, I held up marketing and there was like, no, the schedule, this and that. I'm like, all right,
The
whatever.
schedule.
They're like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem with not so much filmmaking today, but film distribution today. Everything boils down to your poster and
Thumbnail.
the
Yeah.
thumbnail and I guess to even a lesser extent your trailer and your little your log line, your little 2-second blurb.
Yeah.
It it part of it is because there's just so much content out there, and really good movies sometimes get lost in the shuffle because there's just so much out there. And yeah, I mean, just talking about what you're talking about, I mean, we've dealt with similar issues with distribution and like we had to I think we had a perfectly good poster. We had to spend extra money to rework and just all this crap which has nothing to do with filmmaking. It's just marketing. And
Yeah.
man, marketing is that's the key, but it's such a drag.
Yeah. It's like I always tell people, it's my least favorite part of the process is because then every decision becomes not about not about the story or the audience. It becomes on a dollar.
Correct. Which, I mean, I guess whatever that's the
Good.
business part of show business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really is a great film and it was a great message and it wasn't preachy.
Thank
There's a
you.
lot of diversity in the film, but it didn't feel like shoehorned in there. It felt
No.
like a very naturalistic film. And like I said, that the highest praise I could give a movie of this type is it reminded me strongly of a John Hughes film. And I mean, there are so many ways that this could have went wrong, right? I
Mm,
mean, your cast could not have all hit. The story could have been really just hitting you over the head with preachiness and judgmentalness, but it didn't. It felt like a very naturalistic story with people with real problems, and I just really appreciated that a great deal.
thank you, man. It means the world to hear comments like that. It really, really does. And
Yeah, and I wouldn't
No.
tell you that. I'd give you some bullshit. Yeah, it was great.
Well,
no, I don't
he
think
tells us
I don't
and
believe that.
emails us and says, "Hey," he goes, "I got one we should really watch," because we get so many films
Yeah,
to watch, and everybody, to their credit, everybody's out there doing it, and that's what we
Yeah.
love
Yeah,
for sure. But he's like, "Hey, make an effort to really watch this one. We got them coming on, but really, really dive into this one. You're probably going to enjoy it." And
that's awesome.
absolutely, exactly what Chris said, echoing that. It was true. I wrote down, nice pace as they work towards the party, right? I think you set that up beautifully. It's like you have this anticipation of what's this party going to be. But I'm like,
Yeah.
if it's any party like I went when I was in high school, man, it's gonna
Yeah.
be
gets busted by the cops.
it's gonna be on fire, right? There's
Right,
gonna be
yeah.
drugs, sex, drinking, anything you can think of there. Probably a fight. We nailed that.
So I think we checked all those boxes. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I appreciated about it. I felt as if I was watching something where I looked back and it reminisced me back to my childhood days, and I'm in my 50s too.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's what I went through right there. Somebody just put it on screen.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the author of the book, similar age, I mean, similar time coming up in high school and yeah, things don't change in terms of like I mean the emotions of high school and what the human is going through, what I mean, internally at that time and everything like that. Those don't change, just because one generation has cell phones and another generation didn't or something like that. It really doesn't change those emotions of it. And yeah, in terms of the diversity and and it seeming natural, that's a I enjoy hearing that compliment as well, because that's something that is not that's purposeful from my standpoint. Is I don't I don't like to be told that I have to do something, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I also I just believe in showcasing what I've experienced and what I see, and when it comes to when people think of movies, I'm talking the general public, you know,
Sure.
their mind automatically associates with like Hollywood and stuff like that. You know, even if I tell them I'm independent, I'm outside the studio system, I try to work that. You know, they're gonna put their mind in that category, and then the people that are have the big money, or I mean, these, the actual the people, insiders, industry makers inside that echelon of Hollywood have this set of rules and guidelines that they need to adhere by. And well, your film has to have this, and this, and this, and I'm kind of like, leave me alone, let me do my own thing, and then look at my final product, and I promise you, I've got every single one of your little boxes checked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have certain marks they want you to hit, and then a lot of times it seems like if you just do your own thing, it turns out way better.
If you just reflect what is in the real world is filled with, the palette is indescribable with the number of colors and the ways and forms. You know what I mean? So when you just focus on the story, on the structure, on the narrative, on the emotional aspect of it, you can color it however you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the emotional tone that you and the pacing that you're going to hit, throughout the movie. That's really a belief of mine, and yeah, even with this newest film that we made, I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, you couldn't have more diversity represented on screen and behind camera, in the film. But I'm not talking about that, and I'm not preaching it on, putting on the posters, or declaring it in the movie trailer, like, look at how colorful this film is, or whatever. It's just like, just watch it, and I think you're just gonna,
It was just there. It was just there. It didn't matter, right? We didn't have to read into it. We didn't have to say, "Oh, look what he did! Wow, nice
Yeah.
job!" Right? It was just there, and it worked. It worked seamlessly. To tell you the truth,
Yeah,
it was nice.
one of the things that impressed me was after I understood what was going on, breaking the fourth wall and falling through the second story, I guess you could say. I was curious on how he's going to wrap it all in together towards the end, and it worked out pretty damn good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, again, it changed a little bit. The theme, obviously, of the film, from my perspective in the screenplay, is all about like rebirth. You know what I mean? And kind of, and living through death, or tragedy, and believing that there's hope, and there's something else on the other side of that, and that you just have to have the strength to go through those moments. Hence the butterflies, like butterflies in the stomach. But then a butterfly is also a symbol of rebirth, right? Goes from one form to another after crystallization. And uh so yeah, it, again, from my perspective, there's points I feel like could be more clearly defined or hit on stronger, but if it's there in the movie.
Here's the other thing I appreciated: the fact that it was not a horror movie.
Okay, yeah,
Don't get me wrong, we love horror movies, we make horror movies, but we also make other types of films too. And when we started doing the review site, I said, look, this is not a horror film review site. There's 1,000 of those. This
Yeah.
is an indie film review site. So send me whatever you got. I don't care what the genre is. If it's independent, we want to see it. And of course, almost everything we get's a horror movie. And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. They're great. But it's like, man, I like seeing things that, I like to see a good drama, or I like to see a Western, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I made a horror film, a while back, that has done its thing, or is still doing its thing. And yeah, a good friend of mine, a confidant, he like can't wait for me to make another horror movie, because the most recent one I made is also like pretty heavy drama as well. And
Which
yeah,
is awesome. I mean, the next thing we're doing is a horror film, but
Yeah.
we have done dramas and comedies, and I know horror sells, and everyone loves it, including us. But it was just refreshing to see something that was just a straight up drama.
the scene with what's the characters? Oh, A Train, with A Train in the bathroom with his brother kind of behind him.
Yeah.
That I think that scene's kind of has like a little bit of like a horror, you know what I mean? It's like kind of
Yeah.
that,
I mean, sure, I get that.
with the
Oh, here's a
maintenance.
question I had. The one I can't remember the actress's name, but her brother was a cop.
Right.
He looked old enough to be her
He was
dad, man.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing we got. Yeah, yeah. Again, should have just slipped in like a stepbrother or something like that. Could have suspended the disbelief a little bit more. But yeah, it was one of those things. Again, Kevin, who's the director, he look, when I bring on board a director, I just have um, a flag, a rule that I stand by, it's their film. I mean, you know what I mean? I may, if I disagree with something, I may present my case. I mean, but ultimately, you can do whatever you want, bro. You are the director. You do whatever you want. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna ever step over that line. I may disagree and push back and everything like that, but ultimately, I will leave all the decisions up to you. It's just kind of a thing I stand by. And so,
I have had that argument with or that discussion because I'm a writer and director, and I've had that discussion with other writers who say, "Oh no, I don't want my story touched at all." And I'm like, once the writer turns it over, their job's done.
yeah,
The
yeah,
director has a completely different job, and they can't do that job if you're there standing over their shoulder saying, "Well, I don't like what you're doing there." And actually, what Joe was thinking was this, like, man, it doesn't matter. Your job is over. It's a director's job now. So I really appreciate hearing that.
yeah. And so Kevin made all the final decisions in terms of casting and everything, and he did a lot of rearranging. Actually, I don't. I think it's an accurate statistic in saying that no actor was cast in the role that they auditioned for in terms of like the kids. So he did a lot of rearranging and we did a few different sessions of casting. And so I think when it came down to the brother, I think it was I don't know. Maybe, these were all through Zoom, so maybe he didn't look that old on Zoom.
Yeah, he was a good actor, but
Jeez,
he just I was like, man, that seems like her dad.
yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone in saying that.
My girlfriend said the same thing.
See, now I didn't think that, and I just now yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. And last time I watched it, I always try looking. I'm like, well, and then I'm like, and then I could build the thing. I mean, there's always uh, like, you know, I can suspend my disbelief far enough to be like, maybe they are stepbrothers or half brothers, sisters.
Oh yeah.
Call each other brother and sister. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. So
It didn't kill it for me, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And yeah, God, I won't get into all the things like that in the movie, but they're definitely in there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned some of your other projects. I was just going to dive into that a little bit, but you got writer, director, where do you fit in that? Producer? What's your passion? Because obviously the next one, it looks like you're Say Something, looks like you're
Yeah.
directing on, writer on that one as well. So where do you balance it out for yourself on what your passion is?
The thing I believe I'm the greatest at is writing, and where my what I want to accomplish is to be running essentially a studio, and so several different filmmakers, producer, what I mean, all doing their own projects, and me just kind of overseeing and doing that. So writing and producing are the two are in the two top tiers for me. This most recent film is the first time I directed a feature. Um, and I obviously am going to do more of that. But not everything I write I need to direct by any means. You know what I mean? Nor or even really want to or think to. The next one that we're doing, I'm going to be directing as well, just because again, we're trying to keep that pace of one film a year, and it's just easier, I mean, at this level of budget and everything like that for me.
At the right forward turret, is that?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one because it's
Sounds like a war movie. Help me out with that.
it's the only thing we're saying about it is it's just two actors in one location, all told in real time, and so it'll definitely more of a genre piece, but uh, it's kind of like a Twilight Zone type thing.
Oh, cool.
Something's going on the entire movie, and then the ending, we kind of reveal what's been going on, and it's not only is it like, oh wow, I didn't see that, but also for me personally, it's saying something about an industry I that is headed to a place that I disagree with. You know what I mean, globally. So
Yeah.
it also has a much bigger personal message for me that I'm trying to say in it. Yeah.
Good teaser. That's
Yeah.
We'll be on the lookout for that. And then say something's in post production. Where at in post? How far along is that? And when do you think that's coming out?
It's done, and so we started submitting to festivals. I've submitted to four, 4 or 5 this at the end of this week so far. Another 6 by the end of the year. I'm just looking at my list on my board here. All the top, festivals hidden for that. And if we strike out of all of those, then I'll just go straight to distributors and pushing out for there. But yeah, it's finished. You know what I mean? And it's
You do a little acting in that one?
I did, yeah. Probably my biggest acting role yet.
Yeah.
It's a real part, and and do what you got to do.
That's incredible. No, that's cool.
Are you not going to mess with regional festivals, anything like that?
Did that with the party. We did. It got into a lot of festivals. We did a lot of that. What I mean, small to medium size, and it just did nothing for it. And I think unless you have been accepted to one of the top 10 festivals in the world, I don't think they're not going to do much for you.
No,
Yeah.
they kind of make you feel good for a little bit, like, hey, we got another festival, but all they do is cost money, and they
All
cost
they do-
time,
Yeah,
and they cost effort on your part if you want to go there,
yeah.
and maybe you win an award.
And you guys giving people win awards that you probably should have won.
We did some awards at festivals and different things, and but yeah, you're exactly right. It's all of those things, and yeah. So
And you go to a screening where you have like 7 people in there.
yeah.
That's
Awesome.
brutal when that happens.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a drag.
I actually walked out before because I just like I was like so over it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna sit. Let's go find a place to go shoot pool and like just forget about everything. And so we
Yeah,
did.
man. We have had some horrifically bad screen experiences.
So bad.
Like
Had great ones, but
some
we've had
great ones,
bad
yeah, but some terrible ones. Like this one, the film, the whole time it's shown out of sync.
Yeah.
So the sound is off by like
Yeah.
3 seconds for the whole
Oh.
screening.
God.
Like, yeah, it's awesome. And then we have another one where we're in the same auditorium as the award show, and our movie is screening right before this award show. So everyone is talking in the lobby
Yeah.
and then coming in close to the
Yeah.
end of our film and just ruining the whole thing for the 15 people who were there.
Yeah. It's brutal.
It's a bummer.
So I think, I mean, this film that I most recently did, I think it's the best film that I've made.
Say something?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it just I mean I think the script is perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of story structure, like we really nailed it, and that just followed through everything. You know what I mean? So then when we came down to the edit, it's like, man, this movie, like for a Talking Heads picture, like I just think it really moves and is structured really well and is more artistic. I think it's it's just more it has that more like indie film feel than
Sure.
than Party or anything else I've made. So I'm hopeful that it gets into something worthwhile and go from there.
No, I think that's cool. You said something on something I read that said putting in the hard work necessary to craft a great story, that's what you're willing to do. And it sounds like, you're living up to your words.
Yeah.
Just from our experience talking to you tonight, you can absolutely tell that you're putting in that grind, you're putting in that, that hard work, because that's what we always say. If you're not willing to put in the time, the energy, or the effort, you can't complain with what the outcome is at the back end of it. So I definitely
Absolutely.
see that from what you said there. You also said something I thought was interesting when you said there's no bad stories, it's just bad storytelling,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit, because I think that's key.
So like, yeah, it's a good quote. I'm glad you brought that one back up because I haven't thought about that in a while, but it's absolutely true, man. Like, and let's think about this for a second. Like, pick any human being on the planet that's able to communicate, right? That has been around long enough to have something, you know what I mean? Whatever. And like to that person, what they've been through in their life is the scariest, the most exciting, the most love-filled, the most depressing, the saddest. You know what I mean? They have already lived the extreme of every emotion that a human being can possibly experience. But because of media and things like Hollywood and films and how big and celebrities and this whole thing that's projected out that makes makes people think, oh God, I'm not that. I mean, that's not me. That's not me. It's one of the things that I kind of despise about the industry is the idolatry that occurs and that
Yeah.
it's poisonous and it affects the mind and it puts a person down, when they see because they're projecting themselves as this character on screen, and then when they see that same character, do an Armani ad or talk on an interview on late night television, you know what I mean? Like it's conflicting with their self worth. It because they're already putting themselves as that person, and then when they see that person interacting or living their life or talking about how they live their life, they think that's how I need to live my life as well. And it's very toxic and poisonous. And so if you ask that human, like, oh, what's your life story? Oh, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I grew up in this small town, nothing ever happens, and this and that. And like, I promise you, if I were to sit down or any other, someone that's gifted and you just listen and you built a story. I mean, you can make anything engaging and entertaining through properly structure. I think screenplays are absolutely binary and it's like casting a spell. I really believe that. And it's like you need this at this moment, you know what I mean? You need these certain elements all to hit at this moment and then poof, like magic it has this emotional effect on the human being and can absolutely change that person for good or bad forever.
Mhm.
A good screenplay.
A good screenplay, even
A bad screenplay is the exact opposite.
screenplay makes the person born and think of something else. But yeah, so going back to that, yeah, there are no bad stories. There's only bad storytellers. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And we always say it starts with the story first, right? That's the first element. If you got a good story and you can pull that off and you tell it right, like you say,
Yeah.
then it's always going to be effective. It doesn't matter because nothing's mundane if it's told right.
Yeah. And I think that's many people will probably won't admit it, but I think it's completely lost in at all levels of this industry. I don't think people pay enough attention to the scripts. They rush through it. They just don't know, you know what I mean? Like what a great script looks like or reads like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, and then not to mention if you have 20 producers on a film, how are you supposed to maintain like a vision or like one direction on that. You know what I mean? When you got all these people that get to have a say, or get to be in the room with you.
They over-engineer it to their likings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it just never works out, in my opinion.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. That's
Yeah, right.
all you got to know right there, baby.
Yeah.
Ryan, man, we appreciate you being with us. We don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Sure.
If there's anything you want to drop more in here, if not, we'll wrap up for tonight and hopefully catch you a little bit later on the next one, once that one drops out. So what, January 2nd, the party, it's out
Yeah. On SVOD, whatever that,
SVOD.
So Google, iTunes, wherever you pay to rent your movies, and then we'll be, available streaming somewhere after that, shortly after. No, I mean, I again very much appreciate this. Since you're wearing a Slayer shirt, Tyan, I acted in a couple of Slayer music videos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which songs?
Okay, what's the name of the song? I don't remember.
Was it from Repentless? Were you in the prison?
Yeah.
Nice.
How did I miss that?
In the throat, and I think I'm like roughing up Danny Trejo in a Nazi underground basement. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Bill Moseley was in that shoot as well. So that was cool. That was fun. But yeah, the Slayer shirt always reminds me of that.
Awesome.
No, man, just yeah, I'm looking forward to this film. I think I believe in what the direction that my brand, my company, my vision, my films are all headed. I believe that we have the ability to become a real competitor with others out there, and I think on top of bringing some fresh, good competition into the landscape, I think I'm also going to bring a level of transparency that just isn't seen in Hollywood. That is scary to them, huh?
We talk about that all the time.
Yeah. And I don't think that's, they don't want that, and they don't want to be exposed for the games and the things that they do. But movies are just too important, man. I think they're the most important thing that human beings have ever created, and they're truly able to change the consciousness and direct human beings one way or the other. They're so powerful, and I think they've been used with ill intent since their inception. But we are at the beginning stages of a transition period that is going to free everyone up from that and expose those kind of things. And I just want to be the first one there. I want to be the first one to knock down the door.
Somebody's got to be there, baby.
Hold it open for everybody else to flood in. So I was kind of built for this. I've been through a lot, which everyone has. But I'm very fortunate to be here and happy to continue to move forward on things.
Awesome. Keep up the grind, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks. You guys too, man. I really enjoy what you guys are doing, and thanks again for the correspondence. And
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will be sending you guys anything that comes my way that I think you guys would appreciate.
No, thanks.
Yeah, and if you know any other filmmakers want to get their stuff reviewed, tell them to hit us up.
I will definitely.
We're trying to expand that reach to as many people as possible because it's a need that people have.
Yeah, you guys are doing good work, though.
Thank you.
Hey, you know what? And we learned a lot tonight, Ryan. You know what we learned? What did we learn, Chris?
Indie film sucks.
Yeah, that's part of the highs, the lows.
The lows.
Yeah.
And the in-betweens.
Of
true. Independent filmmaking.
That's right. So Ryan McCoy, check out The Party early 26 on streaming services, and then upcoming Say Something. If you see it at a festival, go grab that, because Ryan even says it's probably his best movie he's ever written, and you can see him act in that as well. So check that out. Ryan, couldn't thank you enough.
Also did the score for this most recent one. I started doing music.
Oh, see, you just keep pushing us, and you got us hooked, baby. So, hey, look forward. When Say Something comes out, we'd love to have you back on too. So
Yep.
we'll be reaching out. Appreciate you, man.
For sure. Thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate it, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah,
All right.
cheers.
Good night.
Indie film sucks. Indie film sucks. It's the Indie Film Sucks